pride worldwide. This is for the dreamers, rebels and crew, for the fans in the back and the diehards too. Break the chains, let the passion. You and together with pride worldwide. This is for the dreamers, rebels and crew, for the fans in the back and the diehards too. Break the chains, let the passion ring. We're calling out hate in the squared off ring. Kicking out at 2, where the love runs deep and the fight stays true. Kicking out at 2, no tribal lines, just respect me and you.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Kicking out at 2 intern Ace Finley here. And before Michael and Tori hit the ropes and dive into the latest in the world of wrestling, let's tag in one of our show's partners, W Energy. If you're looking to fuel your grind, whether it's late night booking sessions, streaming, or just surviving Monday, W Energy's got your back. No crash, no jitters, just clean focus. Use code KICKINOUT, all one word, at checkout to get 10% off your order. Now let's get back to the show.
He, she's, theys, and all those who slay, buckle up. It's time for another episode where logic taps out and laughter takes over. Welcome to Kicking Out at 2. I'm Michael. With me is the comedic curveball I never see coming, Tori. Hey, Tori, how are you?
That's fair. That one's a good one. That's fair.
All right. Well, we are just going to dig straight into the news. We got quite a bit to talk about today.
Fightful Select, bringing you the latest headlines, insider updates, and everything shaking up the wrestling world this week. Take it away!
That was a whole thing.
That was a whole thing. I did a whole thing. Tony D'Angelo sighting. Where has Tony been? Do you know where he's been?
I was like, is this a rhetorical question? Or...
Well, it's kind of like, what would Tony do? Probably put on some concrete shoes on somebody and throw them in a lake. Tony D has been completely off the grid since July. No matches, no mentions, no teases, nothing. Fightful reports, though, that no one at the PC has seen him in months until November 11th. Tony was backstage at NXT in Orlando, not in his gear, not filming anything. He was just there. Staff said it's rare to see him these days, but everyone was happy that he popped up. He is still under contract. So the question is it him coming in maybe to start the talks of what's going to happen with him? Is he just there, just checking up on things? Could he return to NXT in some sort of fashion? Like, we don't know what's going on with him, but he did show up. He was finally there.
What are they going to do with him?
I don't know. I have said since the beginning that I think that the Tony D character is very similar to like the vaudevillains back in the day. I think that's a great NXT gimmick. I don't see that doing well on the main roster. I don't see it translating well to the broad audience.
Loved me some vaudevillains.
The vaudevillains were great. Not too long ago, I think it was a couple months back, they actually got to get back together for one more tag match, and it was nice to see them together.
Didn't one of them get blacklisted or something?
Well, no, but there was that whole thing with the other one, not the Drama King, but the other one, where he ran his mouth a lot about Enzo. There was about like a 2-year span of him popping up on every wrestling fans For You page on YouTube because that interview of him just trashing Enzo was always there. It was so popular because people just loved to watch it.
So apparently Enzo's girlfriend has a TikTok and she posts like different stuff about them, and I'm like, has he pulled his head out of his ass? Is that what I'm seeing?
I don't know. You got me at he has a girlfriend.
She is a very attractive young woman.
Now I'm very depressed because Enzo Amore has a girlfriend. Still single.
I mean, he is a certified G and a bona fide stud.
I'm bona fide, not crazy though.
You know what happens? You can't teach that. That is still one of the greatest entrances ever. I don't care what anybody says. That is a top 5 entrance for me.
It is. It's great. It is. They got compared a lot to the New Age Outlaws because it's very similar to that, as far as the cadence to it, the flow to it, the fact that there was a point where they took all their mics away and like the fans just did it for him as he was doing it. Like the guy or not, those two together were a big draw. People loved it. There's some.
If he's getting his shit together, I'm fine with him showing up other places. Like I know he's doing a lot of independent, smaller promotions, but if he's getting his shit together and not being a problem, give him a shot.
Absolutely.
Stampede.
Hey man, welcome in. Yep, definitely got the same return pop that we got like 5 to 7 times in Raw last night. That's a joke that Stampede said on the aftermath yesterday. Of like that was obviously Triple H's idea for yesterday. It was just, well, we're just going to do return pops for everybody. Like every match will have a return pop, and like that'll be what we do. It's a great strategy. See how it works for him, Cotton. TNA contract season is heating up. Whole bunch of people are coming up here soon. A wave of TNA contracts are expiring at the end of this year. One of the biggest right now, though, being AJ Francis. Last year, he hit the free agency, then he re-signed through 2025. His relationship right now, though, is strong with TNA. They do want to keep him for 2026. And he's reportedly very happy. So, like a story much ado about nothing, but...
And he's doing a great job.
Absolutely. He's killing it over there. And as a personal, like, I really love the story, the stuff he's doing with BDE. Brandon does everything. Like, that's an amazing thing, because BDE is not even a year into his journey as a wrestler yet, and he's already on TNA TV having a program with AJ Francis. All because they did that same story on the indies. And so they just decided to bring it to the TV because they wanted it to happen. So, really cool. So a big story kind of happened that I have never seen Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful slap somebody so damn quick for starting a story. But apparently there was a work the media idea in TNA that they were going to decide to start this thing about Santana. So the idea here is it was said that Santana, after losing the TNA World title, had gotten disgruntled and had not...
In 30 days, with no appearances, the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be disgruntled too.
Absolutely.
I know it's a work, but I'd still be disgruntled.
But there was rumors that he had not shown up for a meet and greet, that he had not shown up to the arena for Turning Point, so that he was disgruntled. Sean says, this is a quote from him, "At no point in my career before November 14th did I have an official provide information to advance a storyline while pretending it was real." So the way it was being fed to Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful, and I assume to other media points as well, was that this was a real story. They were trying to kayfabe even the writers. TNA attempted a work shoot by feeding media a fake story that Santana had no-showed and might be missing Turning Point main event altogether. The official quote TNA sent included, "Mike Santana did not participate, has not arrived, nor has he replied to calls or texts." Sean immediately flagged it as suspicious and refused to run it. He replied with a frog wizard meme that said, "Doubt." Other outlets did run the story verbatim to what it said. Sean says that, in his opinion, this does cross the line. If you're ever fed information and your first question isn't why, you're not doing a good job.
That's fair.
So what do you think about that? What do you think about the companies feeding wrong information to media sources?
I don't think the company should have done it. I think they should have let Santana do it. Stampede ain't wrong about that either.
I do like
I
LOL
was thinking
TNA.
about the NXT TNA at this point anyway. They're not two separate companies anymore.
No, and
They're really not. I mean,
we're getting very close to WWTNA too. Like it's with what's happened over this past Raw and SmackDown. Speaking of that, Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, returns to WWE for one night only. Cardona appeared as Zack Ryder on SmackDown versus LA Knight as part of the Last Time Is Now event. This was a one-off from what we're being told. It was not a contract. There's not a contract currently being discussed. WWE confirmed he isn't signed, but they have a merch deal, which is why hours after having that match, there was already renewed Zack Ryder merch, the old woo with the hair and the headband shirt was there, and then 2 new shirts already out there ready to go. No info yet that they used why they used the Ryder name instead of Cardona, but I think it's obvious it's because it's the name that they had, and so they wanted to continue that. Ryder nostalgia always seems to be money, so WWE may be testing the waters to kind of see what it would be like to have him back in the fold. Ryder Cardona has obviously invented himself on the indies and has become this whole brand new character, this brand new person. But it seems to be WWE is fine just sticking him back in that role of being Zack Ryder. The big thing that I've been seeing in social media, though, that I want to ask you about, people are dog walking him because he decided that he let them put him back in that Zack Ryder role. What do you think?
I feel like at this point, if they came to him because Cena wanted it, he 100% could have said, I'm only coming back as Cardona. You can talk about my history, who I used to be, because putting somebody as a formerly known as is not going to hurt the product.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't winning. We all knew that. Just like who came back Monday night. We knew they weren't winning either.
Which is sad.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
But to let them put him in that, he deserves every bit of the heat he's taken.
Really? Okay. I will say I have an adverse opinion to that. Because here's my thing. Yes, I can say that I will never come back as Zack Ryder. That'll never happen. Zack Ryder's dead. But you back up that Brinks truck to my door? Okay.
And I get that. I'm sure it's a fat check.
Yeah, I'm sure he got a fat paycheck out of it.
To quote Jay and Silent Bob, he wants his motherfucking movie check.
Yeah.
I get it.
Put that bitch in my hand.
You have gone on and on about not being Zack Ryder, and then you come back as Zack Ryder.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think a lot of the hate he's getting is because they've listened to the Road 2, right? And the Road 2 has been him saying Zack Ryder's dead. Zack Ryder's not going to be a thing. If I come back, I want it to be Matt Cardona. However, his latest interview that he did on CVV, he said, look, I've got both gears made if WWE ever makes that call. I've got Matt Cardona gear and I've got Zack Ryder gear ready to go.
Had I heard that, I'd have said he's coming back as Zack Ryder.
Yeah. Well, because I think at some point, like, they haven't made that call in the past 5 years. Maybe it's time to say, you know what? You want Zack Ryder back. I'll grow the hair back out. We'll put the headband back on. I'll get back on the internet. Let's do this.
Just
don't put me back in that wheelchair.
I just don't like it. I just don't.
Yeah. I don't either. I think it is a regression of the character. But like I don't think it's right for people to drag him through the dirt because of the decision he made. He decided to come back. Like that's his decision. You'll say what you want to say on the indies. I mean, look at Karrion Kross right now. I just saw an interview with him before we got on here of him saying, what was it? He was like, in my run in that company up north, I was all about attacking the liars. Sami Zayn was the biggest fucking liar of all of them. But let's flip that. What if I'm the liar? What if Hunter did bring me down here to the Indies to cause a stir? What if he did bring me down here to the Indies to scout some people? You're gonna say shit. Like if it helps build your brand while you're down there, you're gonna say some shit. Like,
Right.
I can understand 5 years later if he's like, hey, you know what? They haven't called. Maybe I need to reel some of that in a little bit.
Well, I don't think Cross in WWE is a good fit.
No.
I just don't.
No, I see and like we have our feelings about that company. I see Cross as an NWA guy. Maybe a GCW guy, but like the NWA style of like just this big mean bastard heel that's an over the top character. I see that working more in an NWA type of environment.
Tony Khan confirmed they never asked to use Copeland.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yep. He did immediately put after that though of also he's really big for AEW and he's under contract right now. So they may not have for that specific reason. Like he's under contract. So why would they open that bridge and open that call? I agree, Stampede. Absolutely. And plus, TNA didn't lose because Matt Cardona didn't lose. Zack Ryder lost. Fuck that guy. Speaking of TNA, though, Wesley, now known as Desmond Xavier, unless you're the announcer, in which case then it's Desmond Alexander. I don't know what happened there.
Stop. They fucked that up.
They fucked that up. But it is what it is. Yeah, he does fit Nog as well. That's a good point. Desmond returned at Turning Point to reunite with the Rascals, so the Rascals are back in full force. He's not under contract though, but TNA does say that they have plans for him. Zachary Wentz's contract is up also at the end of the year. Rascals may have interest outside of TNA. They may stay in TNA. If the Rascals do stay in TNA, though, you know what's going to end up happening. They're going to end up jobbing over on NXT. So that's what we'll see. Yes, he was. He was also on that show. There's a lot of people on that show. When I was looking back at it. And then again, speaking of TNA and WWE's quote unquote partnership, as Stampede keeps saying it, Joe Hendry, seeing if he showed up, is officially in WWE now. Apparently, the statement behind the scenes was that he did still have a TNA contract left over. HBK himself told them we should go ahead and buy out that contract. So apparently that's what happened. They bought out the contract. He's officially a WWE licensed superstar now. I have mixed feelings. I like the character. But again, I see that as an NXT character. I don't see that working long term on the main roster. What about you?
I'm kind of with you. I think it's gonna run its course relatively quickly. It's not something that you're gonna be able to. It's not something that's gonna stay around like Randy's RKO. It's not. It's gonna get old on a
Right.
big audience stage. It's gonna get old. In TNA, it's fine because it's the same people and they love it.
Right.
So I don't.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You don't what?
I don't see it. I'm not doubting Joe's abilities or talent because I'm not. The dude's talented. Yes, 15 minutes.
Yeah. They're going to have to do something substantial with him to have him outlast that quick hit of the not nostalgia. What I'm thinking of the the uniqueness of that character.
Yeah.
Steve Borden, remember that guy?
I've heard of him a time or two.
So, Junior, his son, is continuing his wrestling journey. First match recently, while Darby was on Everest. Another match is set for Defy Aeon on November 21st. He's got a background in UK football. He appeared as Wolfpack Sting in 2024 as part of Sting's AEW Revolution retirement. But just apparently he's sticking to his guns. He wants to follow in his dad's footsteps.
Okay.
I think that's good. That's another one of those like we talked about, like with Brody Jr. There's a guaranteed storyline that can come out of him being in the wrestling business. Because if he's going to be the young up-and-comer and Sting passed the torch to Darby, you can either have the son be jealous of that and have that be the story.
Yeah.
Or you can have Darby take Steve Jr. under his wing and train him up. Or
Either
do
way,
both.
I think it'd be good.
Yeah. Be a fun story. There were some injuries because of a massive event at Dynamite that we'll talk about more later. But AEW Blood and Guts injury updates. Good news, mostly. Jamie Hayter was banged up. She possibly chipped a couple of teeth. But she was described as badass as you would expect. Sky Blue, despite losing lots of blood and looking absolutely horrid after that match as far as like how she looked physically, she actually came out relatively okay, pretty unscathed. Hangman Page, versus Hobbs. Both of them have said that they were just sore, no serious injuries there. So it seems to me there was nothing serious that happened during that pay-per-view, which is really good because there was a lot of spots there that, you know, obviously could have went horrible.
Right.
The one that keeps sticking in my mind was the press. Was it a press slam or a power bomb? I don't remember, where Darby went through the flaming table.
Press slam.
I mean, just that alone, I look at and go, God, he's got to be broken in half, to quote our friend JR. MJF is said to be returning soon, trying to have a Hollywood and wrestling balance. Violent Night 2 wrapped filming. MJF is expected to be back in AEW by December because of plans that have been leaked on what's going to happen there. Marina Shafir absolutely was the MVP of that match. We'll talk more about the women's match later, but yeah, her breaking the glass and then taking her shoes off, stomping her feet into the glass just to kick somebody with her foot full of glass. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently he's gotten the active bug, though. Obviously, he was in Happy Gilmore 2. He was in the Iron Claw. He just recently wrapped up Violent Night 2. He is scheduled for WrestleCade coming soon, so it does look like he's going to try to get back into it. But it seemed to be he kind of likes the acting, and I don't blame him for that. I mean,
Right.
Young kid, good looking, good at acting. You could definitely make great money being in acting and not have to throw your body all over the place. I'm pretty sure that's why Dwayne does it.
Dwayne, John, Batista.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were just calling him Dwayne John. I didn't realize you
What's
were
his name
switching
now?
people.
Dwayne John.
Dwayne John. WWE is not ditching their big tentpole events. We talked about last week that they were talking about moving away from He Who Shall Not Be Named's vision. There was more talk to clarify to that. Mark Shapiro said WWE wants to move past the Vince era PLE names. So it wasn't necessarily the Vince, it was just the names. Fans freaked out thinking that it was going to be like WrestleMania and Rumble were going to be replaced. Higher ups clarified Saudi Arabia isn't paying for WrestlePalooza, they're paying for WrestleMania. So that is not ever going to go away. Weird way to say it, but I get
Why
this.
don't you just admit that Saudi Arabia is bankrolling your fucking company at this
Yeah.
point?
I get the sentiment of them saying that. It was a horrible way to say it, but WrestlePalooza is going to be built as a major annual event, though, to complement those tent poles. Indianapolis and New Orleans already have future Mania and SummerSlam commitments, so we're keeping the big tent poles, the Royal Rumbles, the WrestleManias, the SummerSlams, the Survivor Series. But it looks like we're going to start seeing some new and fresh names for the other pay-per-views. As we discussed last week, though, I hope it's not, 12 pay-per-views. I hope we cut some of those back a little bit. But I assume as long as people are paying that, $30 to ESPN, they'll keep shelling out as much as they can. A little more somber of a news story. Rebel from TNA unfortunately got a cancer diagnosis. She had been diagnosed with primary pulmonary lymphoma, essentially just cancer in the lungs. It is a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, so it is a pretty severe situation. She said during a recent just kind of thing that she posted to say it, she is having a functional neurological disorder because of it. She's having issues walking. She's having to use a walker now in order to just get around. She's lost function of her right hand. She's had some speech issues. Major infection must be cleared out, so she's got a massive infection currently. But that they're going to have to clear that out before the cancer treatment actually begins. They're saying that she could probably start rehab on the 17th, hoping for clarity in December to see where she's sitting at on that. Cancer sucks.
Yeah.
That's all there is to that. My dad, despite me and him not getting along in the last few years of his life, he battled cancer 3 times. And by the 3rd time, it was his prostate, and that's when he was finally like, I'm done. I'm not going to fight this anymore. And so he just kind of let it take him at that point. Because it's a horrible disease. It takes everything from you. I mean, you can just hear everything it took from her, who just 2 years back was wrestling. I think she was wrestling in AEW at the time, having a couple of matches there. Like, it's horrible what it takes away from you. So, all the best to her. Oh, hopefully it happens. If you want to catch her on Twitter, she's got a page there to help her with some funds to help her get through this. So definitely look into that. Jesus Christ, Stampede, I'm trying to be somber here. God bless you, Rebel. We love you.
I was really trying to hold it together. That was killed me.
Here's something everybody wants for Christmas. SmackDown going back to 3 hours in 2026. That's exactly what we want, right? To me, this has big please no energy. WrestleVotes, WWE, and USA are talking about moving SmackDown back to 3 hours starting January 2nd, 2026. WWE hasn't confirmed yet that they're doing this. SmackDown was 3 hours early in 2025. They switched back to just being 2 hours. I don't know what to say about this. Just because when it was 3 hours, it was a horrible show. It's not a great show now. What do you think you're going to do adding a 3rd hour back on?
That's part of where where do y'all think this is going to go?
Well, I can tell you where it's going to go. It's USA looking at them saying, hey, you know how you used to throw in that 3rd hour for us for free? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that again. That's all it's going to be. Huh?
Black Panther? What?
I have not seen that, Gabe.
Okay, so spoiler, if you're a fan of NXT and want to know, don't want to know what happened tonight, They put the title back on JC Jane. 24 days. Tatum had that title less than a month. Y'all couldn't do it next week, so it was at least 30?
Just wow.
Yeah, that's horrible. Oh, I see what happened. They turned on her.
Oh, did that? Okay.
Colleen turned on her.
Okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah.
I'm
I will say
less upset.
JC's rolling elbow may be the prettiest one in the business right now.
So Tatum actually did an interview over the weekend, and they'd asked her the question of like, whose finisher would you like take if you could take anybody's finisher? She said JC's.
That rolling
She was like-
encore is nice.
She's like that rolling elbow, like you could do it to anybody out of anywhere, and it hits anybody. Like no matter what size they are, if you elbow them in the face,
Yeah.
it's done.
I don't like how they did it because 24 days is now the shortest reign in history. But I guess.
Yeah, it's still good that she got it though. Like I'll at least give them that. Tatum deserved to at least have the title. Gabe, I did a quick Google search. I think I see what you're talking about there. It looks like it's a really ridiculous indie thing he was trying to do, and so I'll look more into that later. But that's interesting. More returns from TNA. Nick Nemeth returned as Dolph Ziggler. He's also not signed. This is also just kind of a one-off. He faced Solo Sikoa on Raw in the Last Time Is Now tournament, using the name Dolph Ziggler again. He's still contracted to TNA. He is on a short-term deal, though, so there is a possibility that he could come back to WWE if they really want him to. WWE was reportedly happy with his performance. I don't see why not. He's always been amazing in the ring. Something I was actually talking to Lady Alpha about last night on the Aftermath show. To me, he's one of those that he is so good it's a detriment, because they felt like they could do anything with him, and because of that, he just kind of got whatever they needed him for. He never really got the chance to be the face of the company because you could stick him in anything, and he would make it shine. So, very unfortunate, but who knows? Maybe he'll come back. Yes, he was.
Yeah, her Dolph Ziggler wasn't available.
No, he was backstage introducing himself to people, making sure everybody knew he was Dolph Ziggler. Naito and Bushi's canceled European appearances. This is kind of a messy situation. A little bit of gossip. WXW had deals identical to September's successful appearances. A new assistant demanded more, including EU work visas that they didn't need previously. WXW pulled them from their plans and notified other promotions. They called it bad business on the side of Naito and Bushi. So it's kind of a messy situation going on there. Unfortunately, that means that they will not be showing up in WXW anytime soon. Another contract that's coming up soon, Jody Threat, which is a name I hadn't heard of until just about a month ago. But apparently hers is coming up. Longtime TNA staple. Her contract's coming up relatively soon, is what's being reported by Fightful. Both sides actively are discussing about an extension. So TNA is hoping to keep her there.
Who was it?
Jody Threat.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll keep her there. She seemed like a fun character. Like I said, I hadn't actually seen her in anything until that Battle Royal that she was in there for. Seemed like a very fun character, running around all crazy and everything. So we shall see. All right. Well, before we get into the 3 count, go ahead and talk about some heels.
Hey, wrestling fans! If you're a woman who loves professional wrestling, you need to check out AEW Heels, the official female-focused online community from All Elite Wrestling. It's a safe space to connect with other fans, share your passion, and build friendships with women from around the world. Members get access to exclusive content, virtual events, Q&A sessions with AEW talent, ticket pre-sales, contests, giveaways, and even in-person meetups at live shows. Led by Amanda Huber and Aubrey Edwards, AEW Heels gives you a place to truly feel part of the AEW family. Don't miss out! Join AEW Heels today and connect with your fellow wrestling fans like never before.
All right, we are ready for the 3 count. This week we went back to kind of normal. Little bit of fun wrestling happened. Specifically, a big event called Blood and Guts happened, which was going to dominate all of its stuff. But WWE actually came into some stuff for me that I wanted to talk about. Same thing with Tori. So we're going to go and start with one of mine, Women's War Games tension. I love the fact that we're keeping some storytelling in this match outside of just good team versus bad team, because we find out that we're going to have Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss being teased as members of that War Games female group. And then once we actually get the interview of Alexa saying, yeah, we're in, Charlotte says, nah, I can't do this because I hate her. Talking about Rhea Ripley. So the fact that they're keeping in the fact that her and Rhea had, essentially a blood feud for a while, I'm glad we're keeping that into the story. It does seem to be that we might have already finished that story on SmackDown, which kind of sucks, or on Raw, which kind of sucks, because the girls are getting a beat down again by the heel team, and then Charlotte comes out to save her best friend. They didn't officially say that she's going to be part of the team then, so hopefully we'll still play with it for a week or two since we've got some time on it. But I do like
We have a week and a couple of days.
A couple of shows at least. I just hope we don't run right back into it of like, okay, well, now that I saved my best friend, now I'm back on the team. That seems very rushed.
I agree, but that's what they're going to do, and we both know it.
Shush.
We both know it's going to be, well, I can't have her out there by herself getting hurt, so I'll just go ahead and help.
Yeah. I do kind of wonder what happened to Flair's ability to trash talk on a mic, though, because it seemed like someone taught her the word snake, and she decided to throw that in 3 or 4 times in that promo. I think you're a snake, you think I'm a snake, everybody's a snake. I'm a silly snake. I don't know what's going on with her promo there, but like she just kind of forgot what was going on. Go ahead.
I have noticed since she came back that her promos aren't the same, and I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
She seems happier as a person, and I honestly think it's affected her promos a little.
Yeah, I do love the new character. I like the fact that she seems a lot happier, a lot more like silly in her character and doesn't take herself so seriously. It just, I don't know, that promo seemed really weird to me. Your first one, the women's blood and guts match. And I'm just going to step out and let you talk.
This fed my soul, okay? The fact that we're less than... So, for those that may not be initiated with the blood and guts, 2 women start the match. 5 minutes later, someone else enters. Before we got to the 5-minute mark, we had blood. I lost my camera. I'm breathing.
You were clapping so hard, your camera went, nope.
Apparently. Less than 5 minutes in, Sky Blue is bleeding.
I'm going to give them even more credit than that. I think before we even hit like the 1 minute mark,
No,
I looked
they were
up and
there
she was
for a
already.
couple minutes. They went back and forth.
I'm just saying, I looked up for like a minute and she was already bleeding. But either way.
So I was great with this. And then at some point later in the match, Sky Blue's like, "This is my match." Yes, ma'am, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you're in every one of them the rest of time. Um, this match had so many interwoven storylines. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Storm was great. I'm not a Mina Shirakawa fan. She's not bad. I'm just not a fan. I don't think she fit in this show, in this match.
Yeah.
I
I don't disagree. I
understand
think
it.
I think she was there for that story at the end. That was the only
And-
reason we had her there.
Yes, Stampede, 100% they did. They used it to their fullest extent.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Storm is amazing. Statlander was fantastic. Julia and Tekla climbing out through the
Yeah,
The
the open
supports
box their support.
was so perfect. So well done. Tony ate a mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't say that with any term of I'm not implying she literally ate a mirror shot.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing was so good. The ending was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. We really need a better name for Marina's finisher because calling it Mother's Milk is just not cool. I can't with it.
I personally
No.
love it.
No, it's terrible.
She's choking him out in her chestial area. I think it makes perfect sense.
No, it's just awful. But Megan Bain beat the piss out of Mina with that belt too.
Mm-hmm.
Like those were not easy shots.
Yeah, no, the belt shots were rough. I loved some of the callbacks to things though, like Harley Cameron bringing out the puppet. She rips the puppet off to find out that she had brass knucks hidden in the puppet.
Yeah, 100% Stampede. They both
Yeah,
kicked in out
both
their own
both
ways.
massively different.
I felt the women should have main evented. I understand we got the Derby spot. I get it, but the women should have main evented. It was a bigger deal.
Yeah, I think there's a standing for that. To say that should have been the main event. It's a great match though. Like I can't say enough of it. We're not going to talk about the men's. Nothing that was against them. It just wasn't on either one of our threes.
It was great. It was a great match.
I want to say this though, just because of how great AEW does at pay-per-views, and being that War Games and Blood and Guts were so close together this year. What they did for Blood and Guts is exactly how War Games should be, as far as what Stampede there said of they should be two entirely different matches. They should stand on their own 2 feet. Where War Games tends to be the same cookie cutter match.
Yep.
So I need more of what they did in AEW in the War Games match.
I agree.
So I wanted to talk more about the Mike Santana situation. Usually we talk about good things that we've seen in wrestling. Sometimes, very rarely do we talk about bad things. Mike Santana losing the world title. The next TNA event is a Hardy special where they just do the Hardy compound stuff. Not even new matches, just rewatching the old stuff. The next live event, you don't see the world champion until the main event at the end of the night. Why wasn't he out there, tooting his own horn about how he's fought and clawed for that world title for the last few months and then finally got it? Like, it's ridiculous how they handled that. The best way I can say it is that as good as TNA starts to get, TNA is always going to TNA. And this is where they did it. I think they screwed something up, handing that over to Frankie Kazarian without having any fanfare for Santana. is insane.
I agree.
That's all I got to say about that.
You're not wrong.
I can get on a soapbox to talk about that, but I'm not gonna. You want to talk about Daniel Garcia and Daddy Magic? All I gotta say is this feud is making my nipples hard.
Okay, well, on that note, I'm just gonna go ahead and go.
I miss Daddy Magic saying that. Make Daddy Magic's nipples hard.
So, I kind of thought we're done with this. I thought we're done with it, and then
Jesus, Stampede is on a roll tonight.
yeah, he is. I thought they were done with it, and then Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah, it was Collision.
Yeah. Daddy Magic's doing commentary. Wasn't looking at Daniel, wasn't paying attention to him, wasn't trying to get involved. Daniel attacks him and just beats the hell out of him.
Well, it all started with just like a smack to the back of the head, knocking off his headset. Just complete disrespect.
Right.
Like, Jesus Christ.
So he beats him down, and then Daddy Magic cuts an amazing promo later because Daddy Magic is fire on the microphone.
Yep.
If we were doing a list of people that weren't great wrestlers but are amazing on the microphone, he's easily top 5.
Yeah.
And he's not a bad wrestler.
No, he's just
He's quality, but
like I think of like a Road Dogg. Like Road Dogg is good in the ring. He's not great, but his personality and his character take it the rest of the way.
So I was kind of done with it, but now I'm really interested to see where we take this. Like, what's next?
Yeah, the fact that we're keeping it going, it gives me hope of long-term storytelling, which AEW has not been great at. But the fact that we just kind of sprinkled this back in.
And that was going to be... Sorry. That was going to be part of this too. I have seen a lot better long-term stuff with them. Some of it has been wash, rinse, repeat. But I feel like overall, we're getting a much better storytelling aspect from the company across the board.
Yeah. Well, and in that same moment, like, so they beat down Daddy Magic. Jon Moxley substitutes him on commentary because of that. And then continuing his story, talking about how great AEW wrestlers are because of their intensity, their endurance, and their digging deep when he's been tapping out for the past month. So keeping that story going and him trying to build his credibility back up while sitting there on commentary. An interesting dynamic. My last one, Paul Heyman and Stephanie McMahon did a little interview together on Stephanie's stories. She brought in Paul Heyman. I got to listen to it on the way back from Fayetteville. Whole bunch of stories. Go and listen to it if you haven't. It's a lot of fun. You get to see a real side of Paul Heyman, and he talks a lot about him back in ECW and what happened back there, and him coming into WWE. And one specific story that he talked about is he talked about when he got put on the SmackDown writing team, who his boss at the time was Stephanie McMahon. He who shall not be named said, look, I need you to go in there and I need you to be a disruptor. I need you to put her off of her game. I need you to let her earn her ability to manage you. Because if she can't manage you, then she's not going to. Not realizing that he had also called Steph and said, this asshole thinks this is his company. And he's coming in here guns a-blazing. I need you to manage him. I need you to knock him down a peg. Immediately pitting these two against each other. Which is already kind of a thing that obviously is going to either bring them both to another level or it's going to tear them both apart. One of the two. The funny thing is out of all of this, because Stephanie deep down is her father's daughter, since Vince and all his cronies didn't like Paul and was telling her to stay away from Paul and telling her not to hang out with Paul and not to like listen to what he had to say and to manage him, she immediately became friends with Paul. So they're sitting on a couch at like 3 a.m. discussing what's going to happen on the show. They hit an impasse, and Stephanie gets irritated, looks at him and goes, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why are you making this so hard?" And he just looks at her and goes, "Your dad told me to." And then they both realized at that point what had happened. But it was just a fun little story. Paul talks about his ability to bring people to the next level like he's done in the past with people like Stone Cold, with people like Roman Reigns, people like, unfortunately, Brock Lesnar, as far as like what he tells them when he becomes their manager in order to bring something extra out of them. So I definitely recommend people go and listen to that. It's a lot of fun. Stephanie's great at these two. I mean, she's just so elegant in what she's doing. Last but not least, in the 3 count, on Monday Night Raw, in what I consider the best moment of the night, because it's the only time it seems like they were going out of what could be the easy answer, Maxine Dupree wins the Intercontinental title. That's one of yours, so you go right ahead.
We had talked about this when we were over Saturday. I think we talked about it. We've talked about it before. We said, I want Maxine to win, but I don't think she will.
We even made storylines like all around it of like she'll lose
Right.
and then
Right.
Natalia comes back or
Right. I am so happy they pulled the trigger on this. I'm okay with AJ getting involved without really getting involved. Jessica Carr standing up to Becky, like there were so many different things to this. Putting the title on Maxine, to me, makes this title important. It wasn't on Becky. It's Becky. Maxine having this title is going to do wonders for her credibility, in-ring time, mic skills, which still are pretty good but could be better.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be an across-the-board good thing.
Well, last night when we talked about her winning, I compared her to Kelly Kelly.
Yeah.
Because Kelly Kelly got hired as a dancing girl in a cage for ECW at the time. And she went from being this pretty girl Barbie blank character to then being decent. Like, she's good in the ring. She's still green. She still has holes, but like she's good. Enough where her getting a title for a little bit, not hurting anything.
Stampede, do you think the title picture has taken a step back with Chelsea and Maxine? I think Jade's a step back. I don't think there's anything good that comes out of Jade having that title. I don't think Nikki beats Stephanie, but you think it's a step back?
I'll actually say, just add a little discourse to it, I think you're wrong about Jade too.
Okay.
I think having her in there is similar to giving it to Chyna when she first got it. Because she wasn't great in the ring. She was just a big, powerful person who was able to run through females.
Right.
And so that's what Jade is right now. They'll give her a Goldberg run. She'll go in there and she'll tear people apart. And when she finally gets that actual contender, then we'll see if she can actually do it or not. But as far as her run is concerned, up to the point where she loses it to whoever that contender is, I think we'll get a good run out of her. I don't see a lot of people clamoring for Nikki. That's the only thing. Like,
I love
I don't
Nikki.
see that.
I don't think putting the title on her is a good thing.
Absolutely not. She doesn't need another run.
But I'm excited about what they do with Maxine. I'm excited to see where it goes. I think Julia was set up to fail from the beginning. When they heel turned her, she was done.
Well, and as much as I love, is it Kiana James? Is that her name?
Yeah.
The girl that she's with. Sticking with her was a bad idea too.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that makes those two mix.
Yeah.
But I mean, as much as I hate the whole like, hey, just because they're the same ethnicity, don't put them in the same group. Sticking her like with the Kabuki Warriors, I think probably would have been better. Because at least then it's like of the same ilk, and she could have been the prominent singles wrestler. They're the tag team wrestlers of a small little group. But yeah, it was a fun way for Becky to pull one over, or for Maxine, excuse me, to pull one over on Becky. She just gets distracted. It's the same thing as a quick roll-up win. It's just a easy way for her to say, okay, she lost. She didn't really lose, but she lost. The thing I thought was interesting is I thought we were going to get some Calyx there for a second. And I would have enjoyed that if Carr would have just like pushed Becky into a roll-up or something. Maybe have her do some wrestling.
I agree, but
From Rossi. What am I missing there? My brain may be too fuzzy right now.
Yeah.
All right. So for this week's main event, today in pro wrestling is what we're going to do for this main event. November 18th, 2012. The main event saw WWE Champion CM Punk defending his title in a triple threat match against John Cena and the Ryback. Towards the end, three mysterious men dressed in all black
Shield debut
jumped the barricade and attacked Ryback, powerbombing him through the announce table. Commentator Michael Cole identified the attackers as NXT talents Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. This marked the debut of The Shield, a group that would go on to dominate WWE both collectively and individually for years. Thanks to their interference, Punk then pinned Cena to retain his championship. And over the years, especially now, those three men are still at the top of the game. And that was 2012, 13 years ago. We're not going to say individual, because we're talking about the Shield themselves. What's your favorite Shield moment?
I think it was a no hold barred with them against Hunter, Randy, and Batista.
Okay.
I think it was. That match was crazy. Like, it was all over.
Yeah.
It was either Batista or Kane. I don't remember who it was.
Well, so there was the one with Daniel Bryan, Kane, and somebody. The Batista one was when they brought Evolution back together, and everybody clamored with Blue Tista because he decided he was going to wear blue that day. Um, I think
Yeah.
I think as far as moment, like I can't say specific moments, but I loved the Shield promos backstage. Just Seth Rollins picking up like a random camera, or Dean Ambrose picking up the random camera, and just them talking into the random handheld camera.
Those backstage promos were nice.
Yeah. Well, because it brought something different. It's very, very much like NWO when they decided they were going to do the black and white, fast cut backstage promos. It changed the promo with that particular aesthetic. Right. So, for this week's hot tag, I don't have a clip for it, but I wanted to shout out a mix match challenge, if you want to call it that. Raw Aftermath and SmackDown Aftermath with Lady Alpha over on the Wrestling Divas podcast channel. And also, depending on what day it is, because on Monday, it's ya boy on that show, so it shows on our channel. And on Fridays, it shows on the run-in as well, because Big Mike is her co-captain on that one on Friday. So definitely be sure to follow Lady Alpha on all her socials. As far as the latest moves and everything of what we're doing on those shows. Excuse me, at Lady Alpha KK, KAYKAY, on Twitter. You can also catch Lady Alpha with her co-host Autumn on the Wrestling Divas podcast, where they share their newfound love for professional wrestling. They break down all the action and explore the history and future of this exciting history every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Unfortunately, they could not do it today. Lady Alpha was under the weather, but should be back next week. And Pete says his favorite moment of the Shield is when Dean Ambrose left. Wow. Okay.
Well, no, he's got a point, though. Once he left the company...
Well, I mean, it was a big change for him when he left. So, I mean, it definitely became a better moment for him. I'm just saying the best Shield moment was when he left, though. I will say, like, as far as a touching moment, though, that when Joe, not Roman, came out and said he was having to take time away, the leukemia thing, like, that was a good Shield moment. The guys coming out and just like, because from what they've said, they didn't know what he was going to say. So them being up at the ramp and the hugs and all that was legit.
Right.
Unfortunately, they had Dean Ambrose turn that night too, which was a horrible idea. But it's what it is, I guess. But anyway, all right, well, that's been the show. Like, we actually got through that pretty quick. I didn't think it was going to be that quick of a show. I guess that's going to go ahead and leave us straight for the last pop. November is Men's Mental Health Month, and with the holidays just around the corner, it's a good time to remember that stress and pressure and loneliness can hit hard this time of year. Strength isn't about handling it all alone. It's about connecting, talking, getting support, especially when you need it. That's why I'm also excited for our new show that's debuting this January, the Open Challenge, where I'll be sitting down with a rotating cast of co-hosts to talk about mental health openly, share stories, and try to break the stigma of not talking about what's going on in our lives. This season, let's go ahead and look out for each other. And remember that no one has to face the holidays or life alone. And don't leave us alone. You can catch us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Blue Sky, and sign up for the Kicking Attitude Discord to drop your thoughts, share your faves, and keep this conversation going. And in the Discord, fight forever. Fight for what's the next thing that we're doing? The next watch along. You just asked me about it yesterday, and I forget which one it is.
Full Gear.
Full Gear. Look, I just work here. We will be doing a watch along live for Full Gear in our Discord. So if you want to watch that with us, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you want to watch it with us, Catch us on the
I
Discord.
don't know if I'll be there, but maybe we can do a watch along again on Sunday.
Maybe we have 2 watch-alongs. Maybe we just roll it for 24 hours. Whatever.
So, on a funny note, Pete Davidson was front row at Raw last night.
Yes, he was.
He caught Sheamus's shirt and was so excited about it.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
On the flip side, there was also a rapper front and center that looked like he was sleeping until he realized the camera was on him, and then proceeded to show his Steam Deck that he had, that he was playing SmackDown versus Raw 2006
I saw that.
during the show.
I saw that.
I'm like, so you just showed a dude that obviously isn't paying any attention to this show? All right, whatever. But anyway, thank you, Stampede, for being here. Thank you for everyone else that joined in as well. We had Gabe pop in as well, and I thought we had someone else pop in. Was it just Gabe and Stampede that popped in the chat? I guess it was. All right, well, in the meantime, and in between time, we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.
We stand together with pride worldwide. This is for the dream.